Hello, beautiful people. My name is Adriane Rose, and welcome back to the Freedom Podcast. So, I'm going to dive right into this today. We're going to talk about jealousy, and I've actually done a podcast about jealousy before, but I think it's time to do a refresh on this and really dive into what it actually entails, especially when it's girl on girl jealousy. And I just want to say that I definitely think that there's a special place in hell for female jealousy, like girl on girl crime. That is so sinister. And it's something it should be illegal, man. Like, I personally don't understand females tearing each other down. That does not make sense to me. Ladies, like men tear us down enough. Like the violence and like rape culture, countless of forgotten eons of like violence and rape culture at the hands of men. Guys, listen, I love you. This is not about you right now. If you're a good guy and you're not a rapist and you're not a piece of shit, then it's not about you, okay? I'm talking about the history of male violence. I know so many women who have horror stories, myself included. Like, I learned from a young age, from a little girl, about the violence of men, about the ways of men, about how there are monsters in the world. And it's sad. And I never really got to be a child because I like that innocence was robbed from me. And I grew up around a lot of violent men and emotionally cruel and abusive men. And I dated a couple like Turners in my life, and I experienced horrible things at the hands of men. Basically, that it took me my entire adult life, like the past 20 years, the second half of my life, to recover from and learn how to heal. And most women I know have a similar story. Almost every woman I know has been assaulted or at least has been in a horrible situation or a scary situation, a close call at the hands of men. I don't understand why a woman would attempt to harm another woman. Like, we're all on the same page here. We're all on the same team. We all have very similar struggles. Most people have a story that would make you cry. I personally don't believe in telling war stories. I don't sit around and talk about how bad things were growing up. I just like, we can just sum it up by saying it was not good. And it took me a lot to heal the wounds that I had grown up with, and took me a lot to release all that trauma. And it's a journey that I pretty much, have figured out at this point. I know a few things now at 40. I just turned 40 a couple weeks ago. And I've learned a few things, and I feel so good in my skin, but it's taken me so long to get here. I mean, I really started like my second birth, I call it. Like, they say that you're born twice in life. Like, the first is when you're physically born, but then the second time is when you figure out why. So right around my 20s is when I really started to dig deep. I couldn't live the way that I was living anymore. And I started finding all these different healing modalities to essentially heal myself emotionally, even physically. I was having a lot of problems, and I really pulled myself out of a very, very, very deep, dark place. And I never stopped, man. I put in the consistent work every single day of my life. I never stopped. I never had encouragement or anyone to help me. Everything I am is completely self-made. I have no formal education. I'm self-taught in every way. Everything I have and everything I am and everything I've earned is completely 100% because of me, because I never gave up. And it's crazy that when I experience female jealousy from that, like, maybe you just don't know my story, but what I really think it is jealous people live with a tremendous amount of insecurities. And people who are insecure and have yet to do the inner healing work on themselves tend to project that onto other people. And it's easier for them to scapegoat and deflect and project rather than looking deep down within to heal themselves. Because you know what? It's painful. It's not easy to face those demons. It's not easy to take accountability and ownership over where your life is at. It's so much easier to see someone who you see having a little bit of success and somebody who you think like, wow, their life is perfect. Everything must come easily to them. So I'm going to attempt to break them down. I'm going to attempt to put them in their rightful place where they belong, where I feel that I am. And I think there's also too a tremendous amount of low self-worth, low self-esteem. I don't deserve good things. Good things never happen to me. Why does she have it so easy? Look at her life. And she just wakes up and looks like that. And everybody gives her money and attention. And look at her having success. And it's easier for us to like vilify somebody who's successful or somebody who's beautiful and try and knock them down rather than to look inward and be like, where am I failing in life? Like, why don't I have those things? I see those things are possible. She's doing it. What is it going to take for me to do that? I can't say I've ever really experienced true jealousy myself. I have a different view of jealousy. Jealousy, first of all, is when you want what someone else has. There have been plenty of times in my life where I've wanted what someone else has, but never to the point where I thought I needed to berate them or harm them or abuse them or like bring them down a peg. Like, just because you try to knock somebody down and you try to dim their light, it doesn't mean that yours shines brighter. If I'm trying to cover up the sun, I'm still not going to shine as bright as the sun. Like, what is the point of trying to dim somebody's sparkle? I personally have never felt that way. When I see somebody who has something that I want, I really want to be their friend. I will go up and talk to them and just be like, wow, I'm kind of obsessed with you. Like, can we be best friends? What do you know? Can you tell me your secrets? Can I buy you a drink or some coffee? Like, I want to feel the light of their warmth. I want to live and bask in their sunshine energy. And I want to know what they know. Success leaves clues. So if that person has something that I want, they've already achieved it. I'm going to figure out how I can get there too. So I need to be their friend. To me, jealousy is so lowbrow and so common and just pedestrian. And I think it's beneath me. I find it demeaning. I think it's degrading to myself and the other person. And I would never allow myself to sink to such a lowly place. So to bring it back to our original conversation. So you guys might have seen my post on Facebook or Instagram. I got this weirdo birthday card. It's really funny because I got this card. I had just come home from like the most amazing gig with the most beautiful, fun people ever. They were just rock stars. We had so much fun. We were like laughing till we cried. One of those kinds of nights, right? Where it's just like magic and the stars aligned and all that stuff. I also had just got back from my 40th birthday cruise. It was my best friend. It was his 40th birthday too. We're 7 days apart, so we always celebrate our birthdays together. And like his extended family, they started these cruises. They would go for like family reunion type deal every year. And then I got invited along last year and started joining the tradition. So this year we had a ton of birthdays, but it was mine and my best friend's 40th birthday. And so my boyfriend was there and my parents and a bunch of our friends. There was like 40 people all together. And then my boyfriend actually proposed. So I am engaged now, which is really exciting. Let's see if I can get the ring up close. If it's gonna, yeah, there we go. Okay, so he did so good. It's actually a replica of a princess di ring. And then it's aquamarine and diamonds. Aquamarine's my birthstone. So I had just gotten back from this cruise. It was amazing, like one of the best times of my life. And so now I have a fiance, this gorgeous man who worships the ground I walk on. And I come back and I open up my mail. Like, I got this weirdo birthday card. Somebody colored on, they took the time to like use marker and actually really put time into this. And to tell me basically, I've had to look up what this was. Gross feel is like fat wench or fat girl. And like, then to tell me that I have saggy boobs and 40% body mass index, which is also funny because I actually have really perky boobs. I never wear a bra. I always get complimented on my boobs by other women. And my BMI is what they said, which I think is funny too, because only somebody who actually is obese would use the term BMI. That's not like a common term. I've never said that. I would just say fat. If it were me writing a hate card, which I would never do because I'm not a total loser waste of space, I would just be like, hey, fatty. Like, somebody who says BMI obviously deals with BMI, obviously deals with body mass index, and is a fat person or an obese person, because no healthy, skinny person or a fitness person would write something like that. Why? Well, like Elle Wood said in Legally Blonde, happiness produces endorphins, or exercise produces endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. Happy people don't kill their husbands. Happy people don't write crazy weirdo birthday cards and try to remain anonymous and send them to people's home address. What a weirdo. And actually they put a lot of time into the card too. Like, it has this little gold rose sticker on it and they taped it up real nice. And I'm not going to show you my address, but they spelt my last name wrong. Like, so they spelt my last name phonetically how it sounds out. Like, my last name's Bedrosian. It's Bedrosian, but if you say it fast, Bedrosian, some people say. So Bedrosin is how they spelled it. Spelled my name wrong. So somebody who's heard my last name but doesn't know me or know how to spell it. And then it was mailed out from Milwaukee, on March 28th, which is the day before my birthday. So I got home and found that card and I was just like so bewildered. I was like trying to figure out if this was a joke or a roast or whatever, which would have been funny. I would have laughed my ass off if it was one of my girlfriends. But no, they chose to remain anonymous. So I'm assuming this was definitely an attempt to dig at me, which is so stupid, so sophomoric and ridiculous. So the person mailed this out the day before my birthday. So I got engaged the following day on my actual birthday, and then came home and posted all about it and everything. So obviously this is someone who watches my stuff, somebody who is wishing for my failure or my demise. And I think it's hysterical that not only that, I have this gorgeous man in my life now who will be my husband soon. My life is amazing. My career is flourishing. Have my first Vegas show next month. That's awesome. Somebody is flying my entire band to Vegas for a weekend to perform for a private wedding, which is amazing. Like I've been booking gigs left and right. Like everything is just opening up and sky's the limit. I just finished recording my new album and that's going to be out soon. And now I'm making music videos for that. So like the crazy thing is what I want people to understand about the energy of jealousy. I'm just going to use this example. So like if I'm jealous of Sally, this is how energy works, right? If I'm jealous of Sally, I'm focusing all my energy towards Sally. I'm telling the universe, Sally always gets what she wants. Sally has everything. Sally has the dream life. That biatch. Like, but the universe is neutral. Just like a microwave doesn't change its energy wavelengths. It's not going to be nefarious to one food and, uplifting and empowering to a different food. The wavelength is neutral. The energy is neutral. It's going to do the same thing no matter what I tell it to do. I can't change my microwave's direction. I don't have a microwave, by the way, but I'm just using this as an example. And energy works the same way. And we are energetic, magnetic beings. So where attention goes, energy flows. So if all I'm doing is focusing on Sally, that witch, Sally, I hate her. If all I'm doing is telling the universe all day long that Sally has the dream life, Sally's life is easy. Why does she get to be so pretty and have all the money and all the things and whatever? The universe is like, right, Sally's does have all the dream life and the energy and the good things and the endless orgasms and the massive stacks of money and the bank accounts and the cars and lives on the water and drinks out of coconuts. When you are jealous of someone, you are sending all of your energy toward that person. It's not negative vibes they're getting. You're actually reaffirming that they have all those things that you're pissed off about. And to me, that is a massive waste of your resources. Like, please understand this. Energy is the real currency of the realm, okay? Money is just a physical manifestation of energy. But what money really is energy being exchanged. Being exchanged for goods or services or whatever. But money is just a physical manifestation of energy. When you exchange energy, you are paying with your attention. Whatever you're paying attention to, guess what? If you are sending me all of your vibes, like negativity, it doesn't matter. The vibes are coming to my emotional bank account. The energy is stacking up my emotional karmic account, okay? You can't control the type of energy that I'm receiving. So if you really want to cut someone off, if you're sick of their bullshit and you don't want to see my face anymore, block me. Like, you don't have to. No one's holding a gun to your head and making you watch my reels, which, by the way, I literally sit over here and just sing songs about the moon and stars and wish everybody could have world peace. Like, imagine hating me and I'm just sitting in my house with my cat with like Harry Potter on in the background, wishing that you have the best day ever. That's it's so insane. I swear to God, like my entire adult life has been devoted to figuring out how I can help heal people, because I had such a crappy emotional time when I was younger that I never wanted anyone else to feel the way that I felt. I never wanted anyone to feel scared or hurt or hit or humiliated or shamed or assaulted or abused. And so I devoted my entire adult life to learning esoteric healing modalities and reading tarot cards. And I studied Reiki, and I'm a Reiki master teacher and all this other stuff, cranial sacral stuff. And I studied in Thailand and from all these gurus, and I read thousands of books. Like I started figuring out anything I could do to help alleviate people's pain just a little bit, because I never wanted them to feel the way that I felt. I never wanted people to feel scared and isolated and lonely. Like, again, I don't believe in trading war stories. I'm not going to talk about that. I've moved past that. That's not who I am anymore. I was 12 years old. I was a heavy smoker. Like, I was just a little 12-year-old, just smoking Marlboros, like with black eyeliner, listening to death metal. I was just like, I've seen some shit. I kid you not. I've seen some shit. I was so, like, my little nerves were so frayed. And this led me to not make sound decisions. I didn't have any life experience. I had like no social skills. I was always punished for speaking. And, I grew up in a corporal punishment household, speak when spoken to, and children are meant to be seen and not heard, which is not conducive to being an entertainer or a singer where I have to use my voice all the time. And so I, grew up and a little bit older, had a couple Ike Turners in my life, which wasn't great for me, and like lived through the horror story, like insert horrible horror story. That was it, right? And that developed into all kinds of physical problems for me, physical ailments for me. Ironically, this person was trying to make fun of my weight, but this is already an issue that I've healed my entire life. So I don't care about this anymore. There's nothing that you could say to me that I haven't already heard 10,000 times and probably said to myself a million times worse things than that. But yeah, my weight was always an issue. It was like not even just a passing by thing or a subtle thing. It was like true and honest, like torment and torture my whole life about my weight. Like in my family, being fat was like compared to Satanism. So that was a thing I had to work through my entire adult life. I eventually just quit eating and developed all kinds of gut issues and hormonal imbalances. And then they tried to, when I was like depressed and anxious, they tried to put me on Prozac, and then that made me feel horrible as well. And then my periods went crazy because I wasn't getting any nutrition anymore. So they put me on birth control at 14 to regulate my periods. That actually made me fat, gained weight. And then the hormonal like surges, like I stopped sleeping. So then they put me on Ambien. It was insane. I quickly realized that the conventional medical system didn't have any answers for me. Simultaneously at that time, my mom was also having a lot of physical back pain and stuff. And I now know, because I've studied all this for the past 20 years, that my mom just had a lot of unhealed trauma. Like she had a lot of abuse in her life. I know she won't mind if I'm sharing this. She's passed on, but I know that she would want her story told so other women could learn from it. But my mom was assaulted, my mom was raped, and she couldn't tell anybody about it. And she just thought that it would be better to keep it quiet and, not speak up and not use her voice. She just had a lot of unhealed trauma, and she never got to really fully realize her life purpose and her potential. She was a beautiful woman. She was like a supermodel who was also Martha Stewart. Vivacious personality. She was one of those people like Marilyn Monroe that everybody loved when she walked into a room. I actually channel her a lot when I'm performing. But right around that same time, I was like 14. My mom started to go to all these doctors trying to find answers for her physical pain. And I know now that spiritual pain will always manifest in your body if it's not healed and addressed. A really great book is Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. It changed my life. They also have the movie on Amazon. Highly recommend you get both. If you get the book, make sure you get the gift edition because it has like beautiful illustrations in it and stuff. Anyways, so my mom went to all these different doctors, and eventually if you keep going to the doctor long enough, you're going to find a surgeon who wants to cut you open. And so they cut open my mom's spinal cord many different times in different ways, and spinal fusions and steel rods and all the stuff. And still her pain was worse than ever. And then they were just like, how about a lifetime supply of OxyContin? That'll be so good for you. And so they were giving her 3 80 milligrams a day and a 40 milligram at night. And just to put this into perspective, I got a disc replaced in my spine. I got hit by a car a couple years ago when I moved to Florida, because everyone in Florida is insane driving, insane people. It's like a million people driving $300 cars that are like, I'll kill us all. What's up? And so that's what your experience is driving down here every day. So I got hit by a car. I had to have spine surgery, and they gave me 2 milligrams of Percocet. 2 milligrams, which I don't take because I don't take pain pills, because I watched them kill my mom over the 25-year course. Anyway, long story long, I learned what the consequences were of not dealing with spiritual and emotional trauma. They will eventually manifest in your body in different ways. Now, where they manifest, every time you have pain somewhere, it means something different. There's a cool index in the book, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And it's literally, you can look up like any physical ailment and it'll show you the emotional cause of what's behind that. So, for example, like if you gain weight in your thighs, that relates to the father figure in your life. If you hold weight in your lower belly, that just relates to feeling unsafe in your life. So, seeing my mom struggle through all this stuff, I realized that there was such a deep connection between the mental and the physical and spiritual world. And I made it my life's mission to learn whatever I could about how to heal in any way possible, like whatever was working for people. I started studying with gurus, all kinds of stuff. And what I realized is that the only way to get over something is actually to go through it. And this, again, going back to the type of person who sent me this weirdo, nasty card, this scathing card. There's obviously a lot of deep-seated insecurities that lives within this person. I can tell it's somebody who lives with a lot of fear, a fear that they are not good enough. Because whatever we call out in other people, we secretly fear that we might be that. We tend to project what we hate about ourselves onto other people. So somebody calling me fat and old, like, I don't feel old. I'm 40 years old and I am so grateful for my body. I am so grateful that I have juicy, perky boobs. I am so grateful that I get to wake up every day and be in this body. And it's not an accident. Like, I'm 40 years old, and this is not a flex, but a little bit it is actually. I'm flexing. I'm 40 years old and I don't have wrinkles. I don't do Botox, botulism poisoning. I don't do fillers, no plastic surgery, no implants. Like, this is just me taking care of myself relentlessly every day, unapologetically. I wake up every day and kick ass no matter what. And I take no prisoners. And like, I wake up every day and devote love to myself. I realized that I needed safe space so I could heal. So I gave it to myself. This is me just fueled on steak and sunshine and dreams. And you can do it too. Like, when people are jealous, I'm always just so bewildered by that. Why don't you just get off your ass and go do the same things I did? Like, I didn't have money. I didn't have anyone who believed in me. I had like one aunt who was nice to me, and I still love her to death. Like, everybody told me that I would fail my whole life. Everyone always told me I would turn out to be such a worthless piece of crap all the time. I'm not kidding. It was every day. Like, you will turn out to be nothing. You're lazy. You're fat. Like, I mean, there's nothing that anyone could say to me that I haven't already heard 10,000 times. Like, I have no formal education. I dropped out of high school so I could live on my own without having to hear that kind of stuff anymore. So I got a full-time job to support myself. And, you know, I'm so grateful. I used to be really upset about how I grew up, and I'm so grateful for that now. I'm grateful that I went through all that stuff. And I've been able to reframe it into something that was actually super positive for me. Well, what was the best case scenario? What possibly, you know, could I have gleaned? What wisdom could I have gleaned from the situation? Well, I really had nowhere to go but up. That's one good thing. But also, like, all of the things that were said to me and done to me made me so mentally resilient. And that's the thing too. Like, you have to build up your mental callus if you want to be successful. People are going to be constantly criticizing you no matter what you do in life. Like, either you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too tall, you're too short, too blonde. Like, it doesn't matter. People are always going to criticize you for whatever it is. I just saw this video of a comparison between Millie Bobby Brown and Pamela Anderson. Millie Bobby Brown is the little girl who played 11 on Stranger Things, and she's grown up now, and she's got quite a bit of attention because she's gotten a lot of filler and Botox. And look, I have zero like feelings about Botox whatsoever. I don't care. Whatever you want to do, this is America. I will fight for your rights, sister. If you want to tox it up, baby, like, I will support you. It's not for me. I wish that people would just realize you don't have to do that. You can just eat eggs and steak and take care of yourself and hydrate 100 ounces a day, ground, let go of asshole people in your life, and learn to let go of what you can't control. Take care of your business, what you can control, and watch as the wrinkles fade away. Like, I swear I am reverse aging. Actually, my skin looks better now than it did when I was 35. And I actually think I look better than I did when I was 30. And it's because I put a lot of work into myself. I take care of my skin. I do lemon juice peels, and I wash my face. I exfoliate with honey and sugar and castor oil or olive oil, coconut oil, whatever you want to use. But I do all these natural things that actually make my skin look so much more vibrant than any lotion that I've ever tried, any expensive lotion or anything like that. And I started to notice my skin changed when I was like 38. That's when I started to be like, what's going on there? And I swear I added eggs into my diet and red meat. I started eating more steak and more eggs. I probably eat like half dozen eggs a day, and it changed my skin. Fresh fruit, eggs, sweet potatoes, veggies, and steak. And that's pretty much it. And like your skin will thank you. But anyways, so you don't need Botox, but if you want to do that, amen, sister, go get you some Botox, okay? If that's what you want to do and that's what makes you happy, this is America. You can do that. So Millie Bobby Brown, she's under a lot of attack. And then they did this comparison between Pam Anderson, who's like obviously chosen to go very natural these days and to age gracefully. And we all know her from Baywatch, of course, and Playboy when she was Playmates. I'll have that certain look. And we're used to seeing her with her hair done and lots of makeup. So they compared all these comments. Millie Bobby Brown was like, I just wish that she would go natural. She looks so fake and so plastic. And then Pam Anderson, oh my God, she just needs some makeup. Would it kill you to get a little Botox and some filler? And it's just like, you know what? These loser trolls are going to be talking smack no matter what you do. If you don't want to draw criticism to yourself, then do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. I'm grateful that my nieces get to see how badly I'm criticized online. Like, it blows my mind. And to be quite honest, I'm used to it from men. I only ever get criticized by men. I'm surprised and shocked that a woman would say something like this to me. But whatever. Obviously, she's a deranged loser psychopath. Like, what's up, goodbye horses? How's it going? Are you planning on turning me into a skin lamp or something? Like, I don't want to be a lampshade, okay? Maybe a nice handbag. But yeah, obviously this person's just a psychopath. So sad for her. But I'm so glad that my little nieces get to grow up seeing how much crap I take online, the weird stuff guys say to me, because they watch all my videos, they see my songs, and grown men will comment like, you can't sing, you're fat and ugly, you suck, your opinions are stupid. Like, literally, I'm like, hi, I just love everyone, and I just hope you have the best day, and sending you love and light. By the way, don't forget to have some salt today and some magnesium, drink your water. And people are like sharpening their pitchforks and trying to we hate her. Okay, obviously, if you're triggered by that, you have some deeper issues going on. You might want to check that out. You might want to look into that, because life doesn't have to be that way. Everybody can just drink out of coconuts and wear loincloths in the sun. We can all come here. We can all get in the abundance circle. We can all get in and do a little millionaire samba, baby. Like, it doesn't have to be that way. Maybe if you just stopped being a miserable cow for 2 seconds of your life, you would attract a friend. Maybe you could see that every day you're above ground is a day you should be grateful for. Every single day that I have air in my lungs, I just do a little samba, baby, because I'm so excited to be here. Every day's a gift, and the baloney doesn't matter. People are always going to judge you. If you don't want to attract criticism, then do nothing, say nothing, be nothing, right? I, however, have devoted my life and made a conscious choice to being a force for good on the planet. I want to help people. That's always been my intention. When I go out and I play and I perform, it's not about me. My life purpose is to uplift others, and I do that best through music, and I hold space for them. It's not me just singing a song. When I go out and I communicate with people, I am holding physical and emotional space for them to be in. I consciously listen to what they say. I don't talk about myself because it's not about me. Do you ever go into a conversation with someone and you're like, oh yeah, this thing happened. They're like, oh my God, me too. It was the worst. And then they just take over and you're like, and it feels like you're being held hostage and they're just ear vomiting. It's a horrible way to communicate, by the way. If you do that, chickadee check yourself. Fool, you wreck yourself, fool. Don't do that to people. That sucks. That's like, you're a terrible communicator and you need to work on that. But talking about going deep within and analyzing where we can shore up our own personality, rapid accountability. That's a way that I changed my life. I go deep within and I ask myself questions like, whenever something is happening in my life that I don't want anymore, or I'm upset about, or there's a problem, the first thing I say to myself is, how was I wrong? Where was this my fault? What about this situation was my fault, because there's power there. It's like going back and picking up and extracting all the little pieces of your power and taking them back. Because if something was my fault and I had control over it, then guess what? The good news is I can change it. I have the power to change that. Well, I don't like my bandmate. He is insubordinate and disrespectful, and he never wears clean socks. I hate that guy. Well, who hired him? Me. I can sit here and I can blame that guy of why I'm not successful. Oh, it's your fault. Or I can say, let's point the finger inward and see where I can change. How can I change? Because if everything is everyone else's fault, then guess what? You're powerless. You have no power. You can't control anyone else's behavior. So how are you ever going to fix your life? But if I look inward and I always say, well, gee, I was late to work today, but it's because I got stuck at the drawbridge. It's because I ran out of gas. Okay, well, whose fault is it that I didn't get gas last night? Like, it's my fault. I went to a dentist appointment a couple months ago just for a cleaning, and I don't go to this woman anymore because she sucks. But she was late. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I got stuck at the drawbridge. And I was like, well, my appointment was for 10 a.m. The drawbridge goes up every half an hour. So if you were at the drawbridge at 10 a.m., that means you were not in your office here prepared to start my appointment at 10 a.m. Like, your time's not more important than my time. And now I had to sit here for an extra 20 minutes to wait for you to get here because you were late. Instead of her just saying, I'm sorry, I was late, my bad. So what I do to myself to get to higher and higher echelons of success all the time is I make everything my fault. How can I change this? Now, if it's not my fault, then I don't take ownership, right? If it's not my fault, I couldn't control it. That's it. Then I know that there's no guilt. There's no punishment. There's no self-blame. And then I just let it go. And that's how we let go of everything. Was that my fault? Could I change it? Okay, either yes or no, but then we move on. So for people who are sitting and stuck in jealousy and thinking that, she gets everything, it's why is her life so good and I don't get that? Well, guess what? I come from nothing. I don't come from money. I didn't have education. I didn't have encouragement. I had just hate and abuse and awful, awful things. And here I am thriving. I'm thriving in spite of all of those things that happened. Why? Because I never let anybody control my destiny. I took control over my destiny, and I get to say what I do every day. Now that I'm an adult, I have control over my life, and I did that by taking rapid accountability, and you can too. And so if you stopped being a miserable hose beast and started asking, how can I make changes in my life? What do I want my life to look like? Why do I feel triggered or threatened by this person? I wasn't always a girl's girl. When I was much younger, grade school, I realized when I had girlfriends talk behind my back, I realized that how painful that was. And then I examined my own life and I was like, do I do that? That feels awful. I never want to make anyone feel the way that I feel right now. So I went the other way with it. And some of y'all just need to really grow up. You're 40 years old, mailing people arts and crafts cards to tell them that they're fat. What kind of sham life do you live? What kind of just commonplace street rat lifestyle are you living in? What an urchin, what a dirt merchant. What are you doing in your life? I can't imagine going to that extent and actually mailing someone a card to tell them that they suck. What a weirdo. Yeah, no, my goal is to be a force for good and to lift people up and empower them. And I want everyone who comes into contact with me, is my wish that they come away feeling a little bit better than they did when they arrived. And I've never been jealous of a woman in my life. I made the decision to be a girl's girl a long time ago when I was freaking 13. I was I just want to be a good sister, empower other women and men too. I love men, don't get me wrong. But for women, we need each other. Men will never understand us. It's just us. We're in this together. Men will never get it, okay? They don't know what it's like to be all of this. They will never understand. We need each other because we get it. And the sad thing is, had this woman reached out to me, I am the most generous friend. I only make lots of money so I can share it with my friends and family. I only work this hard so I can give back to other people. My house is always open. I constantly have a revolving door of visitors and guests and people coming in from out of state. I get to fly my family down here and get to fly my nieces down here and host people and lavish them and drive them around on my beautiful golf cart that I bought and drive them around in my beautiful Benz. And I created this life out of nothing with my charm and wit and will That's it. My grit got me here. I don't like to swear. I'm trying not to swear anymore, but I like to say fucking A sometimes. I did this. Like, I am celebrating myself. I'm sorry that you do not have a lifestyle that you are proud of. I'm sorry that you hate yourself and you project your insecurities onto other people. That is sad. I've never once started a fight with another person in my entire life. I've ended them, but I've never started a fight with a woman. Like, unless you seriously bring some chaos to my doorstep, like I already don't want to talk to you. Like, I don't like crowds. I'm more introverted. I already prefer the company of myself and my cat. I already don't want to be in this situation. There's 3 people out there, 2 people leave for me. I make space for people, make myself go out and perform and hold space and love people because that's my role on this planet. That's my God-given life purpose, and that's what I go out and do. I'm good at loving people. I'm good at holding space for you. I am good at uplifting and empowering and encouraging other people. I became the kind of friend and confidant and sister to others that I wished I would have had. I knew those qualities had to exist, and so I embodied them. And that's what I work toward every day. And I'm not perfect and I'm not like patting myself on the back or whatever. But if we could all learn to look within and ask ourselves, how would we like to be treated? My mom taught me that my whole life. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Do unto others. And I know for a fact karma exists because I'm living my good karma right now. People say, like, for example, money comes to me easily and effortlessly. It always does. It just does. People give me large amounts of money all the time. But for example, like, I've had other musicians who were not good friends, not good coworkers, not good people. I've had other people be kind of sneaky and scathing and try to kick me off certain days and, talk behind my back and try to get me kicked out basically. And it's so funny because it totally backfired. Like, whenever anything like that has happened to me, I actually flourished. Like, whenever somebody thought that they were sidestepping me, it actually benefited me in massive ways. Like, last month, this guy came in, this flamboyantly gay billionaire who loves Trump. It's all I talked about all night. Came in and tipped me $1,200 for no reason. He was just like, love her, minion, get my wallet, tip her. And he just kept throwing hundreds in my jar. I didn't even see how many until I left there. But this is an example of good money karma. I share all my money. I give half of it away. And the law of attraction is like threefold comes back to you. I think it's more than that. I think it's more like tenfold. But I've always been very generous with my money. I've never been a stingy person in my life. Even when I was dirt poor and like didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, I still would host people. I would still go and like buy spreads of like charcuterie boards and cheeses and fruits and stuff like that. Even when I had like, I knew that it would bankrupt me for the rest of the month and I wouldn't be able to eat, I would at least make sure that I had wine and cheese. Like, I would feed people and host them, even when I was so freaking poor, which was during COVID, by the way. Someday I'll tell that story. But no matter what, I've always just given whatever I had, even if it was very little. And I know that money always comes back to me because of the way that I share freely and openly with others. And this guy is a perfect example. Like, I have great money karma. This guy just came in and he was like, minion. And his little gay minion came over with his wallet and opened it up and just would sit there at my piano bar and just kept stuffing hundreds into my jar. Other people were also tipping me hundreds because they saw this guy doing it. And he was like, it's not enough. Give her more. And they just kept throwing hundreds in. By the end of the night, they had given me $1,200, this one guy. And I had a couple other hundred in there. It ended up being an almost $2,000 night for 3 hours of me singing love songs on a piano. I mean, crazy. I hear other people say, other musicians who I can tell have a lot of negative energy, they complain and they say negative things like, it's always feast and famine. It's always this guy's so cheap. And I just don't talk like that. I don't put those things out into the universe. I wake up every day and I say, my God, it's the most abundant day of my life so far. This is the best day of my life so far. I can't wait to see what miracles unfold today because I know that I'm going to be so inspired and so grateful for this. And that's how life treats me. And I figured it out. I know a couple things at 40. I don't know everything. But I know that. I know that life is not supposed to be sitting in some dark dungeonous corner, freaking scaling the walls like goddamn Linda Blair sending people weirdo birthday cards, you psychopath. Like, I know that that's not it. That's not the way to attract more abundance and love and energy and karma into your life. And whether this person knows it or not, the law of karma, what they tried to do, the negativity that they put out will only be revisited upon them. And that is so sad. And they may not know it, but it's going to be in the form of my car broke down or their electric gets shut off, or like, even if it's something like they stubbed their toe, like accidents happen to people like that. I would never want to mess with bad karma because life is uncertain enough. Like who wants that extra weight of, like a dark cloud following you around? Like, I don't need that. So I clean up my side of the street, baby. I keep it real. Like, you come into my life, you're going to get love, right? You come in, you're going to get welcomed. Like, I'm going to take care of you, weirdo. Like, stop being creepy and lurking in the shadows and being a dungeon dweller. And we could just be friends and it'll be so much better. Life's not hard. People make it difficult. Humans make it difficult because they have so much effing ego. And either this person is just deeply troubled or they're stupid. When people act like this, it's either because they have a lot of trauma, a lot of unhealed trauma and deep-seated emotional insecurities and wounds and like mental illness, or it's because they have a very low IQ. Either way, you don't want to be that person. Jealousy, no bueno. There's just no place for it. Bitch, we're 40. Like, get on the boat. We're going to the island. Who's got the bottle of wine? Like, let's party together. I would so much rather just have that. Be like, you see something that you admire about somebody, go up and say that to them. I try to find something, at least one beautiful thing in every person I see. Everyone. And I can learn something from everybody. It doesn't matter if they're the dumbest person on the planet. It doesn't matter if it's a CEO of the company or the janitor or a hobo on the street. Like, I can learn something from everybody. And I try to appreciate the beauty in everyone. And guess what? Like the law of energy, when I appreciate something beautiful in someone, they have no choice but to show up as that. So I simply say every day, everyone is always helpful. People always show up to guide me, to help me when I need answers. Money is always abundant, comes to me easily and effortlessly. My life is full of joy. There are limitless possibilities. There are limitless solutions to every problem. I mean, every day is a gift. Like, to waste it being petty like this is insane. So my advice to this person is just stop being just such a heinous, like, dungeness crab and come into the light. It's so much better, where we just eat steak and have sunshine, and let's crack that beautiful vintage bottle of Chateauneuf du Pape. And, there's plenty for everybody. There's plenty of abundance for everyone. There's no such thing as scarcity when it comes to abundance. Humans' ego believes in scarcity, but God only knows abundance. So just get into the light. And let me know if you guys have ever dealt with this kind of jealousy. It's weird, right? Sad. And if you are a person who feels like they need to diminish other people, maybe invest some time asking yourself questions of like, why do I feel this way? Why? What is it about that triggers me? And what do I need to heal within myself so I no longer am burdened and plagued by this feeling? Because feeling scared and jealous and lowly like that, it's a fear that you're not good enough. And that is a sad way to live life. We only get one go around. I mean, maybe, who knows? But life is short and tomorrow's not guaranteed. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And if you want to see more content like this, then like my page, give it a follow. I'm putting out a new music video this month called Moonlight. It's very beautiful. It's a love song. I can't wait for all the haters to jump in the comments and tell me how much it sucks and I can't sing and that I'm too blonde and whatever else they can come up with. Like, at least get creative with your insults. Like, at least make them funny. Like, roast me good. If you're going to come at me with something funny, right? Don't make it lame. All right. Cheers, everybody. God bless. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. And remember that life is abundant. It's also very short. So let's make it sweet. Okay. Cheers.